Today we bought the world's cheapest steak. Costing just $1 per steak, this is something you would never see in a 5-star restaurant. However, today we're trying a hack that supposedly transforms this steak, turning it into tasting more like a 5-star restaurant's meal and something people would definitely define as being expensive. Hello everyone and welcome to my apartment. Okay, now the other day I came across this hack that's awesome, but a little bit bizarre that uses a beer cooler and a pineapple, and the hack basically said you can take any steak in the world, whether it's the worst steak or the cheapest steak, and you can use these hacks and make it into a 5-star restaurant quality steak. And so I went to the butcher and asked him for his cheapest cut of beef, which ended up being something called Eye of Round, which is a steak cut that's super lean and anything but tender. And just so you guys know what we're starting off here, most people don't even cook this as a steak, more so like a stew or a roast. Like literally when I asked the butcher for this, he said, "So what are you gonna cook with it?" And I was like, I'm gonna grill it. And no joke, he just looked at me with a blank stare and was like, "Are you sure?" So with that said, we've cut it into 6 pieces here, and we're gonna be trying 3 different ways of making these steaks. So way number 1, the beer cooler. Okay, now I'm sure when you guys look at this cooler here, it looks completely normal to you guys, and it is a completely normal cooler. But something people don't know is that coolers actually can be a hack for a very expensive way of cooking called sous vide, which basically is a way of cooking where you put your meat in a bag and in a specific temperature anywhere from 1 to even 48 hours, making it basically slow cook. So first step is of course the dry rub, just a little bit of salt, pepper, onion powder, and some garlic powder. Now, I'm not a cook at all, but what I do know is a cheap cut of meat like this, you're gonna wanna season your board and then kind of like massage the extra seasonings of the board into the meat to get every little extra flavor there. Just massaging my meat over here. That sounded very wrong. Okay, now next step, you take your cooler here and you dump your water. Now, normally when you have all the equipment for sous vide, you have your water tank and also your bagging station. However, when you do it the affordable way, you have a safe Ziploc bag. And what I'm doing here is, in sous vide, you wanna get all the air out of the pack. However, a nice little hack is supposedly zipping up the bag to just like the end, and then put your pack in underwater there until just a little tip is out, and there it is. Damn, that's the first time I've ever done that. That was pretty good. And then just leave it in a quiet space for 2 hours. I hope you work, little guy. I've never cooked anything in a beer cooler before. Now, way number 2 is of course marinating with a pineapple. Marinating is a way to increase the flavor and maybe a tiny bit like change the texture. But pineapple, it kind of does the opposite. You see, everywhere in the pineapple from the skin to the inside includes enzyme. And what we want to do is basically extract those enzymes out of the pineapple by making almost like a pineapple smoothie. Oh my gosh, I made pineapple soup. And take your 2 steaks here and you completely cover them in that pineapple soup. And now we're gonna keep it in there and put it in the fridge for 2 hours. Now the last 2 steaks here are just gonna be kind of like the baseline group, using just the regular seasonings that we used before of the salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Okay, now, according to this hack, this is our make it or break it point. It's where we can see what these 2 hacks have changed into, and to see if somewhere along the line we made a mistake. And honestly, at this point, I'm second guessing myself. Maybe we left the meat in the pineapple too long where it's falling apart. Or maybe we poured too hot of water in the beer cooler and overcooked the meat. I'm like nervous because I literally can't see the steak under the pineapple. I really hope it worked. The feel, the look, the color, everything, literally, oh my gosh, it's like tearing there. There's just like this aroma coming off the steak, like, oh man, that is so cool. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Wow, that feels so much tender than before. This is so cool. Like, this literally is transformed into something completely different. Okay, so just to review, we have the 2 sous vide, of course, like the baseline, the normal, just seasoned, and the pineapple steak that honestly now looks more like tuna. Just looking at these 3, I cannot believe that this is the same steak, and I couldn't be more excited to see how these taste, so let's get to cooking. Welcome to our dinner.
Well, that's a lot of me.
Okay, so I just want to explain to you how this is going to work here, okay? So these are all the same cut of meat.
Okay.
But they were cooked in 3 completely different ways.
Okay. Like it's like bad or what?
No. It's just this type of meat is not necessarily the highest grade of steak. Okay, so this is going to be the first one here.
It's quite good.
Mm-hmm. Super tender. Huh?
I was not expecting that.
Really? A lot of flavor on it.
Yeah, that's really good meat.
Okay, so let's rate it in terms of like restaurant quality.
Okay.
Okay. So
this one, if I was at a restaurant, I will be like, that's good, but I will not come back again. I had a good night.
But
it's like
okay.
the one night stand of steaks.
Okay. Fair enough. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 stars being the highest, 1 star being the lowest, what would you give the first one?
I think I'll give it a 4 or 3 or 4, 3.5.
You want to try all the other?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's just try it. Like,
I cannot compare. Yeah.
It's a bit chewy, no? You want another piece? You just keep on chewing.
This one is like, no thanks. Like I'm like.
So you wouldn't even like. You would be like.
I will like. If I was hungry, I will finish my plate. But if I was not hungry, I will like give it to someone else.
Really? Okay. So which one is in the lead out of this one and this one?
Oh, this one for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
No question.
In terms of like Yelp review.
Oh, Yelp review a 2, but
a 2.
Yeah, I only give good reviews.
Ouch!
I will like refrain from giving a review, to be honest.
A 2's not bad actually for this case here.
Yeah,
a 2. But on Yelp or Google, it's like a 2.
Death to your business.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's try the last one.
Cool.
Cool.
There you go. This one looks awesome.
Yeah, it's like the perfect color. Oh yeah, this one is so much better. This one is just the best.
Holy shit. This one is so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this one is really, really much better.
Wow. Let's continue eating this one here. But how much for this for Google Yelp?
5, of course.
5? Like full on 5?
Yeah, it's so good. I really like it.
Honestly, I am so freaking impressed with this method.
Same.
So, it's actually a friend's method. I cooked this in a beer cooler on like 131 degrees Fahrenheit water for 2 hours. And then...
Why not?
What's that look? Anybody can do it. If you have a kettle, container of any type to hold hot water, you can make this steak.
That's so funny. And then like, did you fry it or something? Or?
Yeah, seared it then. Yeah. Then very small searing.
Okay.
But this is insane how good this is comparable to this and this. This is the pineapple one actually.
Okay. That's why you had a pineapple hanging around in the house.
Yeah, Lucille's like, what are you doing with a pineapple and a steak? Okay, give it a price of all these steaks.
Yeah, this one I will like probably go like for like $50 or something.
You think this one $50?
Yeah.
Wow.
When it's like a good steak and like a good piece of meat.
These, like, this piece of meat is like, for one steak, it's $1 basically.
Yeah.
And you just said that this was that this could be a $50 steak just based on the method of cooking.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing for our steaks now.
Right. Well, just use the beer water cooler or whatever like method.
Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys enjoyed this type of video. This is the first video I've ever done in my apartment before, so this is like very new for me. I hope you guys are all safe, stay inside, and cook a $1 steak into a 5-star meal. I'm so happy that you gave that a 5-star because I was like, oh my gosh, did I mess up?
That would have been so funny if I was, oh my god, this one is just the best.
Yeah, can you imagine I would have just been like, okay, well,
yeah.
that's
Then like your
cooking with Bobby.